there we go. We've finished cleaning up the seats, and that leather was pretty nasty. But I think we've got it pretty clean and where we want to be. So our next step is going to be to just slightly scuff the leather, just a little bit with this 1000 grit sandpaper, and then we're going to be ready to put the dye on. So we want to wet this down and keep it nice and even. And we're just going to lightly catch all the areas on here. Make sure it's plenty wet. Not wet enough. All right, so we've cleaned the seats, we've degreased them, and we've passed over with a little bit of 1000 grit just to give them a surface that will allow the dye to adhere. Now what we're gonna do is do our first pass. The first pass is always gonna look a little rough, but when we come back, we can do our second coat and it will smooth everything out, hopefully. Let's see what happens. I like to use a separate container while I'm doing it, so I keep the dye separate and don't waste a lot if I don't get completely done. Now this is a job that doesn't have to be done all at once. I've done it in sections before and it works out great. So whatever works for you and how much time you have. So we're just gonna start this first coat. And it's not gonna go on and do a full cover, it's just gonna give a base. Now also, we have a heat gun here because we can speed up the drying process if we want to do a whole seat in one sitting and take it from that point. Now normally, I would use an airbrush for this. It's much faster. However, for this situation, we wanted to see how it looked doing it by hand. We may go back and airbrush after. Let's find out. But a nice cross-hatch pattern will cover up any fish eyes that you get. And that's really going to make a nice base to start. Okay, so I'm finally done with the first seat, and I gotta tell you, it was quite a project, but I'm really excited about the results. I mean, we went from red to tan.